This is the Roulette Master, and I just received an amazing email from a guy named Anthony. He has an incredible new system called the Golden Throne Roulette System, and man, this looks fantastic, and he says it's consistently winning, and he's tested it over and over again. So we're going to test that out today against another fantastic system, 9 double streets, in a head-to-head matchup, and let's see which one of these systems makes the most money in 15 minutes, and let's get started with that here first. And here we go. So let's go ahead and place these double streets out there. These are also called line bets. And once you have 45, you know that you have 9 of them. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. So not all of these are going to pay the same because the ones on the outside are not covered as well. And but that's a nice $15 win there. We'll take it and we'll rebet and spin. And then when we do hit the outer edges, you'll see how much those pay and how we're going to deal with the losses and the wins, everything that you need to know. And we're just going to rebet and spin. So we're up 30. Let's rebet and spin here. And again, can't wait to get to that new system of the day from Anthony, and that is a 0 there. But in the meantime, let's make some money with this one. And we lost that, so let's double up and spin. And here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's a 12 red, and that's a nice win. $30 win. We're up 15. Let's get one more win here at $90 total bet. And here we go. That's a good one there, 22 black. So we got our second win, and we're up $45. Let's go back to where we started at 45. And it's 45 because we have 9 of those double street bets at $5 each. And that's a 7 red. Okay, another nice win. We're up $60 already. We'll just go ahead and rebet and spin, and let's see what we get here. Okay, that's a 26 black, and that should be good. Another $15 win. We're up 75. Let's rebet and spin. And this is a great way to play roulette. And let's see what we get on this one. That's a 1 red, and that should be a loss. And it is, so we're going to go ahead and double up from 45 to 90 and spin. And here we go. That's a 15 black. All right, there's 1 win. We're up $60. Let's try to get one more here at $90 total bet. And let's see, that is a 2 black. That's not good. So we're going to have to double up again. And we're going to go from 90 to 180. But we have plenty of bankroll to do so. And let's go ahead and see what we get here. Okay, that's a 14 red. That's a nice win. So let's try to get one more of those. You can see we're only up 30. Let's try to get a second win here so we can reset. And that's a 29 black. Okay, that's a $60 win. So we'll go ahead and now you see we're up 90. Let's go ahead and go back to our original $45 bet and spin. Again, that's $5 each on 9 of those double streets. And they overlap, which is awesome. And that's a 19 red. Another $15 win. We're up 105. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 34 red. And that's a loss. We're going to go ahead and double that up from 45 to 90 and spin. And here we go. That's a 22 black. That's a nice win. We're up 90. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. That's a 15 black. Okay, we're up $120. Let's go back to base level. And I almost laughed there because if you can hear that in the background, my dog for some reason is licking my foot while I'm doing this. Oh my goodness, animals are crazy. And we're up $135. Let's rebet and spin. And let me know down in the comments what kind of a dog you have. I have a King Charles Cavalier. His name's Tucker, and he's a great dog. He just does weird stuff sometimes. And up $150. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. Maybe I spilled some of my lunch on my shoe and I didn't know it. That's a 33 black. All right, now that's the first time we've hit one of those outside edge bets, and we're not going to increase the bet when we do that. So let's go ahead and just leave the bet the same. That's a 36 red, and that is a loss. So we're going to double up. We're going to go from 45 to 90 and spin. Excuse me. And let's see what we get here. That's a 6 black. It's another one of those. We're not going to increase the bet. You can see it did drop this down to $60 temporarily. So let's get a win here. That's a 16 red. Okay, that's a $30 win. We're up 90. Let's rebet and spin and see if we can get one more of those. Okay, that's a 27 red. All right, $30 win. We're up 120. Let's go ahead and go back to base level and spin it. $45 total bet. We have nice coverage with this. And again, a lot of those double streets overlap, which increases the size of the wins. And let's go ahead and double up after that loss from 45 to 90 and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 14 red. That's a $30 win. We're up 105. Let's go ahead and rebet it and try to get a second win here. And that's a 28 black. There's our second win. We're up 135. Let's drop back to 45 where we started and spin. And here we go. That's a 17 black, so that's definitely a win. We'll pick up another $15 there, and we're up 150. Let's rebet and spin. And man, I'm so excited to get to Las Vegas on Monday. And man, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it always is. I'm just one of those people. I just love Vegas. And I know I've only been gone for 2 weeks, but this is probably my third trip in 8 weeks. But as much as I can go, I will go. We're up $135. Let's rebet and spin. And here we go. I've had an incredible week at the casino, and that is another one there. We're up 165. Let's go ahead and go back to 45 and spin. And here we go. I've used a bunch of different systems that people have actually. But there's been so many good systems sent in lately, and we're up 180. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. The funny thing is, what I've been doing lately is before I do play like the system I choose to play for the day, I always do that no boss system right at the beginning. We're up 195. Let's rebet and spin. And that's the one where you wait for a situation where you would have lost with 5 in a row of a dozen. And then if you see that in the history, you wait for 3 in a row of a dozen and then bet $100 on each of the other 2 dozens. Okay, so let's go ahead and rebet and spin. And we're up 210. And that's been working really well, actually. And that's just a $700 bankroll system because you only have 2 bullets with it. It's a 100 on each to start and then 250 each on the second bet. And again, we don't increase the bet on those. And then usually once I win a couple $100 with that, then I jump into one of the systems, and boy, there's been a lot of good ones lately. And we're up 210. Let's rebet and spin. And sometimes I'll just win $200 or $300 doing that, and be done for the day. And that's a 32 red. Okay, that's a $15 win. We're up $15 loss. What am I saying? That was a loss there. So let's go ahead and just keep the bet the same because that was one of those partial losses. And that's a 24 black. Okay, $15 win. We're up 210. And I can't wait to share that new Golden Throne Roulette system with you here soon. But this one's going to do really well, I think, as well. And that's another $15 win. We're up 225. So that's why we always, test it against another system, because you might see another system that you like even better. Maybe you like this one better than that one, but I think you're going to really enjoy the one coming up today. And that is going to be we're going to need to double up after that loss and spin. And here we go. That's a 31 black. Okay, that's a $30 loss, but again, we don't increase on those partial losses. We're just going to rebet and spin. And that's a 1 red. That's a loss. So we're going to double up and spin. That dropped us down to $60, but just temporarily until we get a couple wins here. So let's get those wins that we need, and that's a 6 black. Okay, that's another one of those partial losses. And now we're going to actually, we're not going to double up, but if you get a bunch of those like partial losses, go ahead and just add a unit. So let's go ahead and just add a unit to all these. Okay, now we're at 225 total bet, and let's spin. But if you just get a couple of them, don't worry about it and don't increase the bet. Okay, that's a $75 win. We're up 75. Let's rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 34, and I think that's another loss. So again, this is a $2,000 bankroll system, so we have plenty to place these bets, but you'd like to not have to place big bets like this. So let's see if we can get a couple wins and get back on track here. That's an 11 black. It's a 150 win. Let's rebet and spin. And if we get a win here, we'll go ahead and reset, even though we'll just be up 150. So, but my goodness, that's a 00. That's not what we wanted. So we have a lot left in the bankroll. We can double up again, but we can't have any more losses. We need to get a couple wins right here and stay away from those zeros. And that's a good one there on 21 red. It's a $300 win. Let's get a win here, and then we'll be back up $150. I think we'll get this one. Let's see. That is a 6 black, and that actually is one of those partial losses. So we're going to have to go up at least a unit on these. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, normally we don't do that, but when you have a bunch of losses, I think it's necessary. So let's see what we get here. That's a 19 red. 315 win. Let's rebet and spin. And again, you never want the bets to have to get this large, and usually they do not, but I think we can recover right here, and I think we did. That's a 23 red. Okay, we're up $180. Let's go ahead and go back to base level now. Again, let's just put the bets back out. We're so far up there with the size of the bets. This is one reason, like Sonny always tells everyone, and I agree, that's why I made those cash out shirts, is because that he keeps telling everybody to cash out when you're up a good amount. Obviously, we test it longer on the channel each day so we can see the good and the bad with each system. But when you're playing with your own money and you get up a good amount, make sure you cash out and declare victory, just like those cash out shirts at theroulettemaster.com. So that is a 35 black. I'm going to definitely be wearing those in Las Vegas next week. And again, that's a nice reminder to me to be smart and cash out if I'm having a good start to the day. And that's a 32 red. And that's a $30 loss. We're up 120. Let's just go up by 1 unit on these. Again, you can choose if you want to do that or not on the I just do it if I had a few partial losses. I'll go up a unit, but I don't double. So that's a 0. We definitely lost that one. So let's go ahead and double up from 135 to 270. Temporarily, we're back minus $15, but let's get a couple wins here and reset. And man, that's very unlucky. We haven't had the best spends today. So let's go ahead and double up again. This is why we have a $2,000 bankroll. Remember, though, you can also play this with a $400 bankroll in dollar units. And it almost hit 00 again, but we'll take that 27. We're at minus 105. Let's rebet and spin. And after all these losses now, I think we need to get 3 wins instead of 2. Normally, you don't have to do that, but there's our second win. You can see we're only up 75. Let's get one more, and then we will be ready to start back at base level. And we got it. That's a 14 red. Okay, we're up 255. Let's drop back to where we started at 45. And sometimes it's quicker just put the bets back out again. And let's go ahead and just do that. So here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 2 black. And that's a loss. So let's go ahead and double up and spin. Now we're at $90 total bet. And we're coming down the stretch with this one. And very shortly we'll be getting to that new system of the day. Can't wait for that. That's a $30 win. We're up 240. Let's rebet and spin. Try to get a second win here. And then we'll be right at that 15-minute mark here pretty soon. That's a 4 black, but that is a partial loss. So We'll just go ahead and keep it there and spin again. And let's see what we get on this one. Okay, that's a 13 black. That's a win. Okay, so we are up $240. Let's get one more win here. And then we'll be right at that 15-minute mark. That's a 10 black, and we'll go ahead and cash her out right there. And after 15 minutes, we made $270 with 9 double streets. And now it is time for that new roulette system of the day. Let's jump right in there and get started. I'm excited for this one. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for the incredible new Golden Throne roulette system. Let's place these bets and see how it does. And we're going to have some split bets with this one, and then we're going to have some jackpot numbers as you're seeing across the bottom here. And let's go ahead and place the rest of the bets. And we're also going to cover the 000 with this one. This is a $12 total bet. Let's go ahead and spin. And there's going to be different rules for this one depending on which bets we do hit. And that's a 19 red. That's a $24 win to start. So fantastic. Let's rebet and spin. And let's see what we get on this second one here. And that's a 19 red. Another $24 win. We're already up $48. What a great start. And again, once we hit the other bets that don't pay the same as this one, I will share with you what we do different. And that is a loss. We're going to rebet and spin. We're not going to increase the bet after a loss. So here we go. That is a 31 black, and we lost twice. When you lose twice, we're going to go ahead and double the bet. So we're going to go from 12 to 24 and spin. And let's see what we get here. All right, that's an 11 black. That's a $12 win there. And we're not going to reset when we hit the ones that are not jackpots. So when we hit the 9, 12, 8, 11, the 27, 30, the 26, 29, the 28, the 7, the 0, or the 00, we do not reset. So we're going to stay right here at 24. And here we go. That's an 18 red. And we lost that one. We're not going to double. We're not going to double. Only if we lose twice are we going to double. So let's see what we get here. That's an 11 black. Okay, that's a $12 win. But again, we're not going to reset. Again, we don't reset unless we hit one of those jackpot numbers across the first column there. And that's a 13 black. That's a nice $48 win. We're up 72. Now we can go back to 12 where we started and spin. And let's see what we get here. So great start, and let's see where it goes from here. That's a 17 black. That's a loss. We do not increase. If we lose 2, we'll increase. And let's see what we get on this next one first. That's a 15 black. And we lost twice in a row. We're going to double up. So we're going to go from 12 to 24 and spin. And again, we're not going to reset until we hit one of those jackpot numbers. That's a 21 red. We lost again. So you can see we're up 24. Let's just rebet and spin. If we lose this one, we'll double up again. Here we go. That's a 29 black. And that's a $12 win. We're up 36. We're just going to rebet and spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 1 red. Okay, we've lost twice now. So let's go ahead and double up. We're going to go to 48 and spin. Okay, that's a 30 red. That's a $24 win, but again, not one of the jackpots, so we just rebet and spin again. All right, this is exciting. I can't wait to hit more of those jackpots, and that's a 0, so at least we have the 0 covered on this one, and that's a nice $24 win. We're up 60. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. That's a 33 black. I don't think that is a win. We lost that one. But we're just going to rebet and spin. We're not going to increase unless we lose 2. So let's see if we lose another one here. And that's an 8 black. That's a $24 win. We're up 36. But we still carried the 1 loss because we haven't hit a jackpot. So Once we have another loss, we will double up. And that's a 15 black. And there's our second loss. So we're going to double up. Now we're at 96. And now a win would really pay well. Let's see if we can get it right now. And that's a 6 black. And that's another loss. So we don't increase yet unless we lose 2 of those. And here we go. That's a 23 red. And we did lose 2 again. Man, that's rough. Okay, so we're at 192 now. We're at minus 204. 192 bet, minus 204 total. So we need to get out of this rough patch here. And that's a 24 black. And that's another loss. Wow, that's horrible. So let's go ahead and rebet and spin again here. And let's see what we get. We have too many numbers covered to be losing this many in a row, but it can happen. And that's a 19 red. Okay, that's a nice $384 win. But you see, we are not in session profit. So that's the only time you don't reset if you hit a jackpot is if you are not in profit. So let's just spin again. That's a 17 black. And we lost again. So we'll just rebet and spin. If we lose again, we'll need to double up again. That's why we have a bankroll. But this hasn't been the best so far, but I think it could turn around. And that's a nice $384 win. Now we're up 180 bucks. Okay, so that's a lot better. Let's back up and see if we can do better this let's see if we can get through this next one a little bit more smoothly. And let's go back to our original bet. And I think it would have been easier just to put them back out again. So let's go ahead. We're almost back down there now, though. So let's go ahead and okay, we're back to our original $12 bet. And you can see we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then the 0, 0, 0 make 18 numbers. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 15 black. And that's a loss. Let's just rebet and spin. We're currently up 168. And here we go. Okay, that's a 33 black. Another loss. That's 2 losses. So we double up and spin. And here we go again. That's a 35 black. Another loss. And that brings us down to 132 profit. If we lose again, we'll need to double up again. And here we go. That's a 0. So at least we bet on the 0 on this system. That's a $12 win. But again, that doesn't make us reset our bet or anything like that. But we'll be happy to take that win. And we have 1 loss right now. Let's see what happens next. That's a 31 black. And we lost. That's 2 losses. Let's double up to 48. And this is a $2,000 bankroll system. So we have plenty in the bankroll. We just need to start getting some wins. And that's a good one. That's a $96 win. We're up 216. So we can definitely go back to 12 now. If you hit a jackpot and you're in profit, you're definitely resetting. So let's go back to our $12 bet and spin. And let's see if we can get some more good wins here. That's a 9 red. Okay, that's a $6 win. We're up 222. And now we're doing a lot better. So now I'm getting a little more excited about this one. And that's a 27 red. That's a $6 win. We're up 228. And let's see if we can get another one of those jackpot wins. That'd be awesome. And that's a 23 red. That's a loss. If we get another one of those, we'll double up again. But on the first one, we do not. So let's see what we get here. That's a 14 red. That's another loss. So we're going to double up again. That's 2 losses. Now we're at a $24 total bet. And here we go. That's a 22 black. That's a nice $48 win. Now we're up 252. We reset back to 12. And most of the time when you hit a jackpot number, you can reset. Unless you've just had a ton of losses. And that's a 0. That's another win. Okay, $6 win. We're up 258. And here we go. All right. Now we're doing a lot better. And that's a 6 black. And that's a loss. If we get another one of those, we will double. So let's spin. And let's see what we get here. Okay, that's a 32 red. Okay, that's 2 losses. Let's double up from 12 to 24 and spin. Okay, that's a 17 black. That's a loss. So we will just rebet and spin, and that takes us down to 210 profit temporarily. But let's get a win here. That's a 14 red, and that's another loss. So that's 2 more losses. We double up again to 48 and spin, and let's see one of those jackpot numbers pop out right now. Here we go. That's a 26 black. That's a $24 win. Not a jackpot, but we'll just rebet and spin again and see if we can eventually hit one of those. Here we go. That's a 21 red. Okay, we lost that one. That dropped us down to 162 profit temporarily. Let's see if we get a second loss here or if we get a win. That's a 26 black. That's a win, but that doesn't reset the losses. That's just one of those smaller wins. So we're just going to rebet and spin. We still have 1 loss. Here we go. That's a 23 red. And there's our second loss. So we're going to need to double up again. Now we're at 96. And a jackpot now would really pay. Let's see if we can get one. And that's a loss, 35 black. So again, we don't reset. We're only up 42 right now. So let's see if we get a second loss here or if we get a win. That's a 16 red. That's a nice $192 win. Now we're back up to 34. Let's drop back all the way to 12. So if you're close to session profit and you hit a jackpot, you reset. So let's go ahead and do that. We're almost back down to where we started at 12. And let's spin. And so far so good. Let's keep it rolling. Here we go. That's a 9 red. It's a $6 win. We're up 240. And here we go. That's a 13 black. That's a nice $24 win. We're up 264 and still at base level. So now we're doing good with the, this is the Golden Throne Roulette system. That's a $6 win. We're up 270. Let's rebet and spin. That's a 6 black. Another loss. If we get another one of those, we'll double up again. But right now, we'll just stay at 12. Here we go. And that's a 19 red. That's a nice one. $24 win. We're up $282. And still at base level. That's fantastic. Here we go again. That's a 3 red. That's a loss. Again, if we get another one of those, we'll double. But right now, we'll just stay at 12. Here we go. That is a 5 red. 2 losses. We will double up from 12 to 24 and spin. And here we go. By waiting for 2, that just saves your bankroll a lot if you don't do it every time. And that's another loss. If we lose again, we will double a second time. But right now, we're going to stay at $24 and see if we can get a win here. That's a 9 red. That's a $12 win. We're up 246. We'll just rebet and spin. And come on, jackpots. Here we go. That's an 18 red. That's a loss. If we get another one of those, we'll double to 48. But let's see if we can get a win here. That's another loss, 35 black. It's time to double up again. So let's go ahead and do that. And now those jackpots are really going to pay. Let's see if we can get one down there in the first column. Here we go. That's a 4 black. And we got the column I asked for, but it didn't do the trick. So if we get another one of those, we'll need to double up again. Okay, that's a 17. That's another loss. So we have to double up again. Well, that's lots of losses with 18 numbers covered, but let's go ahead and we doubled up and let's get a win right here. It's always better if you get a win early on, but man, we lost again. So now all of a sudden we're almost down. If we lose again, we'll be down. So let's get a win. That's a 30 red. It's a $48 win. We're up 54. We'll just rebet and spin. We still have one loss here. Here we go. And that's a 20. And that's not good. So now we have to double up again, guys. We're going to go to 192 total bet. This is a $2,000 bankroll system. Let's get a win. That is a 10 black. There we go. That's a $384 win. Look at that. Now we're up $342. And we're right at the 15-minute mark. So we'll call it right there with $342 in profit. Hope you enjoyed the new Golden Throne Roulette system. Let me know down in the comments if you like it or if you would modify it. And sometimes modifying a system can be just as good as creating a new one. So that's what the channel is all about, is searching for the best roulette system each and every day. And I hope you're enjoying that search with me. If you are, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that absolutely love roulette. And this is the Roulette Master. And have a great day, everybody.